Hello Indie fans, in place of E3 this year, it seems like we may be getting a drip feed of new announcements instead, so here are some of the must-see trailers that were new in May, starting with GHOSTRUNNER. This very stylish cyberpunk action game has you ascending a tower, humanity's last remaining shelter, to face the key master right at the top. Poverty and violence rules the city, so find your way in this world. What the cinematic trailer doesn't show is that this is actually a first-person slasher title, combining parkour with sword-fighting melee combat, so think of a deadlier Mirror's Edge, and you can see why I'm excited. If you're interested in action-adventure games like Zelda, certainly keep an eye on CLEO: The Pirate's Tale. Interestingly, this adds in additional elements from point-and-click adventure games and even an in-world card game with gorgeous-looking pixel art. This is currently on Kickstarter, so do give it a look and support it if you want. Mars Horizon is actually Space Agency Simulator, where you have to coordinate engineering, research, funding and more to expand humanity's reach beyond the stars. I love a good management game, and this looks up my alley with a beautiful low poly look and what looks like impressive systems. This was made in consultation with the European and UK space agencies, so some degree of realism here. The co-op roguelike action-adventure RPG title Rogue Heroes Ruins of TASOS got a fancy new trailer announcing the confirmation of the Switch release, and has been featured before for how great it looks. On top of Zelda-like co-op combat, there's a whole RPG and leveling system, village building, fishing, swimming, farming and more. Still slated for a summer 2020 release, cannot wait for this one.
Oh, Harry. What have you done? I've traveled so very far to find you. How strange that your trail ends here. The very island of my dreams.
This one was revealed at the Xbox Series X event, where Call of the Sea is a first-person exploration adventure game set in the 1930s on an island in the South Pacific. It looks so good, absolutely stunning and very impressive, and while not much else is shown in the trailer other than walking, still excited for this.
I'm scared of what it means. I feel the call of something deep within. Whispers of things long forgotten. Will we be forgotten too? What did you find here, Harry?
Slavic myths and legends have gotten an increased amount of exposure due to the popularity of The Witcher and games like Yaga, and the next title that looks to do so is Black Book. a turn-based RPG with a decidedly darker take on the world. There are spirits and hellhounds, and I won't be surprised to see a Striga or two with a beautiful art style and card-based combat. This is currently on Kickstarter and has already been fully funded, and if you're itching to check this one out, the free demo prologue is out on Steam as well. What got my attention about Nighthawk is that this is being published by GHOSTRUNNER, developer of excellent modern adventure games like Unavowed and Techno Babylon, so if they are involved, there's sure to be some hook to this game. This is a vampire visual novel RPG where you play as a creature of the night and have to build a thriving nightclub through intimidation, seduction, and supernatural powers. In light of the mixed reviews of the Vampires the Masquerade visual novel, this could fill that spot quite nicely. When I got the press release for the Rhythm FPS BPM bullets per minute, I was instantly sold on the concept, and I'm very interested to see how this developer merges the two genres. I do enjoy both of these separately, though I'm not very good at either, but the thrill and the stress of having to fire shots to the beats seems pretty cool. Quite a classic demon slaying motif as well, where you play as a Valkyrie instead of a Space Marine, but awesome action and a no-brainer. The developer of this game emailed me with the title, "What if Katana Zero was turn-based?" and I said, hell yeah! So presenting Red Ronin. This is a puzzle game that does exactly what the description states, and unsurprisingly, has a Hotline Miami feel to it as well. Combo and slash your way through the bad guys in a classic revenge story using level layouts to your advantage. Clean, simple pixel art that works, and as a fan of both samurais and puzzle games, this is one to keep an eye on. The beautiful exploration adventure game Weaving Tides is currently on Kickstarter, looking for some funding for their final push. This has you exploring the world on the back of your very own carpet dragon, literally weaving into the world to solve puzzles explore Zelda-like dungeons and fight bosses. This game caught my eye when I first saw it during one of those industry events due to both the beautiful soft colours and the weaving mechanic. There's even a freeform playground for you to make art, so a very pretty game that should be out soon. For fans of classic shoot-'em-ups, CYGNI or Guns Blazing is perhaps the latest modern evolution to wishlist since it looks absolutely gorgeous. This is a vertical shoot-'em-up which, curiously enough, uses the widescreen format, so compressed in the vertical space, but your ship does look very mobile with a host of mechanical enemies with some organic influences. Apparently this studio does quite a bit of VFX and animation work, so curious to see them try their hand at a game. This one's interesting since it comes to us from the developer of Killer Queen Black, Bumble Bear Studios, which, following the success of that in arcades and on home consoles, have decided to turn their attention to a single-player, procedurally generated action runner. Abs vs the Blood Queen is built on the mechanics of Killer Queen Black, where you play as the worker drone Abs, who has to outrun the ever-advancing Wall of Death. There are traps and puzzles, power-ups, collectible berries and bugs, and the ever-present high-score chase, so I'm interested to see what this team can come up with.
This is, or was, the ASCENT Group main metropolis. Like you, most people have contracted their entire lives away to get here. Workers or indents, slaves in all but name.
The Ascent is a cyberpunk action-adventure RPG where you play as a worker who is enslaved by the company that owns you, who is suddenly put in a position of life and death when the largest mega corporation on the planet collapses and the automated security systems go haywire.
This is a crisis supernova. The ASCENT Group has collapsed. We have a shot at true independence. And I won't let it go to waste.
You're then caught up in the chaos that ensues, from rival corporations trying to increase market share to criminal syndicates cashing in on the power vacuum.
Find out what happened.
What's most interesting is that this cyberpunk world crosses species, so there are aliens in this, so get to shooting and looting in this gorgeous looking game.
Let's get it done!
One of the more interesting looking traditional roguelikes that I've come across in a while is Rift Wizard, where you play as a spell-slinging wizard against a veritable army of monsters. Traditional roguelikes get a bad rep due to the art, difficulty, mechanics and genre gatekeepers, so I want to show these off when I can in order to drum up more interest in the genre. This is very old school looking, just a couple of steps above ASCII art, but the sheer variety of spells, enemies, items, artifacts and more seems quite interesting. What I love the most is the scale of everything, where rather than poke around in the dark dungeon, your wizard is able to hurl lightning and fireballs, eliminating entire groups of enemies with the adorable but effective pixel art as well. You guys know that I'm a fan of the roguelite deck builder Slay the Spire, so when I came across the Endless Word, it got my attention since it introduces dice into the mix. While at its core it's still a roguelite deck builder, the addition of the random element of dice adds in even more variation. And while I generally have bad luck with dice, hopefully this will give you some elements to mitigate that. There are weapons and dice augmentation, adding to the tactical depth, where there's even elemental synergies of status effects. Big fan of the art direction, very comic book-like in nature, and this works with the theme since there's some Lovecraftian element of sanity and madness, and of something known as a thing of the dark chasing you at all times. So of course, one can see the link to Darkest Dungeon. Very promising and looks awesome, taking the #1 spot. To see more of the big picture, check out these awesome videos and I will see you after the jump.